Hello, everybody. Well, here it is. It's Saturday, May 12th. It's believe it or not, a cloudy Saturday morning here in South Florida. Looking at the forecast, it looks like our rainy season is getting ready to start for the next day or two. For the next week or so, at least some very high rain chances. And hey, what better climate to do some YouTube videos? So this YouTube video, I'm going to talk to you about I'm going to go through these convention committee reports for the upcoming NCGOP convention. And then I'm going to do another video on Robert's Rules of Order. And then after that, I'll probably about a 2-week break before I have any other content. And that'll be a lot of road trip videos of me discussing traveling and that sort of thing. And then on what'll be Thursday, June 7th, I'll be doing the live from Hickory, North Carolina. It's the Conservative Pelican presents NCGOP Convention pregame show. And on that day, what's going to happen is I'm going to register, I already registered online, but actually show up and get the goodie bag. And then walk around a little bit, and then I'm going to come back to my hotel room and do a video on June the 7th and basically talk to you about what's going on with the convention right now and sort of give you the odds and ends and how the place kind of feels on the eve of convention. So that's what's coming up on this channel. As far as Retail Rapids, I've kind of beaten a dead horse on that, so that's probably going to be on hiatus for a little while. Might come back with some videos on that maybe in July or something, but right now we're just really focused on the convention and my upcoming road trip that's right before the convention. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to look at is the convention, the report of the convention rules. And the rules, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because basically, if you're watching this video, you've probably already been to a political convention. The thing about it is you need to remember the registration times. And I'm very happy that the NCGOP has decided for now it's the 5th consecutive year they're going to do Thursday afternoon registration. Convention starts Friday, but they're going to do Thursday registration starting on, this is Thursday, June 7th, starting at noon, going until 6. And then Friday, the Friday registration is going to be from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And the business session should start, I think the official time is 1 o'clock. It might be 1:30, but I'm going to go ahead and be safe and say it's 1 o'clock because I do not want people blaming me saying, the Conservative Pelican, I was a half hour late to the business session. How dare you? Okay, so it's 1 o'clock Friday, but please remember my convention do's and don'ts video. Please try to get there Thursday. Decompress, relax a little bit, but also get yourself to that convention game mode. Okay, so looking here, we have, I already talked about the convention registration times. We have the credentials, report on credentials. That talks about if you have an issue with who your delegates are and everything like that. Order of business, quorum, disclosure, and closure. It's interesting that they added something a little new this year under this disclosure and closure. In Article D, it says any demonstrations or presentations prior to the voting for elected positions other than traditional speeches must have prior written approval from the state Republican chairman and the convention chairman. And that is usually, that's going to be in play for 2019 for the officer elections, which happen then. However, I have, according to the Daily Haymaker, there's been some rumblings that the current vice chair of the NCGOP, Michelle Nix, might be getting ready to announce a run for Congress in the 3rd District. And I should note, though, that is for the election year 2020. Okay? And she does that within the next 3.5 weeks for the convention. She'll have to step down, and then we'll probably have a vice chair election at this convention. But that is just speculation right now. I do not know if that's actually going to happen. But if it does, remember Article B. And then we go down to voting. Let's see here. Let's see. Voting shall be conducted by electronic ballot. That's a new addition. Electronic ballot, voice vote, or by the standing of the delegates, except for the election of party officers, which shall be by secret ballot, either electronic or paper. Again, the word electronic is coming here. So it looks like the NCGOP is trying to upgrade the voting system, which is a good thing. And then it says on the adoption of reports from the committees on credentials, rules, platform, resolutions, or plan of organization, the chairman of 10% of the delegations of the counties registered and in attendance, or the majority of the delegates the same, may require a roll call vote. So that's kind of a new feature too. That's kind of neat. Let's see here. Okay. If used in or on Article C now, Rule 10 of voting, if used in electronic vote, all delegates shall place their votes using the keypads provided by the NCGOP during the allotted time, not to exceed 3 minutes. At the conclusion of the voting window, the votes shall be displayed for the convention to view, and the convention chairman shall read the vote totals by county. So then again, we're introducing electronic voting, which I think is really going to kind of speed the voting along. Again, in years where we were, because 2018 as of right now, we're not going to have any elections, but we'll see. Let's see. And when I say that is in the convention, obviously we have an election in November for Congress and a lot of judicial seats and state legislature seats. Let's see here, kind of scrolling along here. Nominations. So we have nomination presidential election years, which is where you have your delegates to the national convention, along with your RNC members. And of course, Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, most current edition, shall govern this convention when applicable. And when not inconsistent with these rules and the state plan of organization. And then, of course, as always, you can rules should be adopted upon a 2/3 vote of the delegates at the convention and may be suspended during the convention by a 2/3 vote. Except that the rules contained herein, which are drawn from or implement provisions of the state plan of organization, shall not be suspended. That's a little about the convention rules. Again, you can go to the NCGOP website, click on convention, and in the convention, click on the business tab, and you can read these reports and form your own opinions, which I hope you all do, and then go to convention and have nice, lengthy debates on these various reports. Okay, now we're going to get to my favorite report of the convention, and that is the Plan of Organization Committee report. This year, I'm very happy to say that they have and this has always been the most organized and easy to read the reports, because what they'll do is they'll take a section of the Plan of Organization and how it reads currently, and then they'll have the proposal where they'll, change the words or, take out words, that sort of thing. Okay. New for this year, have an explanation. Okay. So this first Plan of Organization change that the delegates are going to vote on is on endorsements in elections. Basically, what they did was they took out used to say they're going to take out the nonpartisan and just have endorsements in elections. Let's see here. Same thing for statewide judicial races. The explanation says this amendment will delegate the power to the county, district, and state executive committees to endorse or not endorse candidates in any race where there is no primary election held for that race. For the state executive committee, this power is limited to judicial elections with no primary election. I think this is it seems to be an okay change. It cleans up some language with endorsed in primaries and endorsed in general elections, I guess. And I don't know. To me, would I propose some of this? Probably not. It's kind of a I feel like the committee was kind of grasping at straws a little bit here and was trying to make chicken salad out of pizza dough. But who knows? I don't know really how that one's going to go, but we'll see when the convention happens. And basically, we have a change in the preamble of the Republican Party of North Carolina. This is basically a grammar thing. It says it changes the preamble from an impersonal third person, i.e. that party, to a personal first person, i.e. our party, and splits around a sentence. So that one should pass overwhelmingly. Probably, very little debate on that one, I would think. Let's see. What else we have here? Let's see. Now we have another thing here that basically it just talks about the auxiliary groups and their place on the state executive committee. And these groups are, in fact, members of the executive committee. Basically, all this poo change does. When I say poo, I mean plan of organization. And under the explanation, it states the names of the auxiliary organizations are changed to the correct organization names. And the vice president of the Frederick Douglass Foundation is included to be consistent with the other auxiliary organizations. Let me see. And then we have... okay, we'll go... And I saved the best ones for last here in this segment. Let's see how I can get to it. Oh, computer. All right, here we go. Central committee meetings. Okay, this currently says that the state central committee, which is about 30 members or so, that's your chair, your vice chair, all your district chairs, and all your Republican men's, women's, young Republicans, Frederick Douglass, Hispanic Republicans. All these various caucuses have a seat at the table of the state central committee. Right now it says the state central committee shall meet at least every third month upon the call of the chairman. So that would be about 4 times a year. this change says the state central committee will be required to meet at least once every 2 months instead of every 3 months, which I think is okay. But if you're going to do that, then I would say you'll want to up the executive committee meetings too, because technically the central committee answers and gives reports to the executive committee, and that sort of thing. So if you're going to up the frequency of central committee meetings, then you should up the frequency of executive committee meetings too, to kind of match both, and make sure that one part of the party is not meeting exponentially more than another part of the party, because then they'll not be in balance, and like you'll go to executive meeting and be like, I didn't hear that. It was that central committee meeting a few months ago. So, okay, well, how many times they meet? Well, they meet 6 times a year. Oh, great. Well, we're only required to meet 2 times a year. It's like, what? So I would hope that because right now the executive committee meeting is only required to have 2 meetings a year. Now that's the state level. The district level, I believe, is 2 also. So maybe you'll go to a 3 to 3, 3 at state, 3 at district. We'll see. And then another thing that might get some heavy debate on is the actual call to convention. Basically, with this change, it says the number of days required to publish notice convention will be reduced from 15 days to 10 days. And the reason for this is because some counties are having difficulties meeting the 10-day requirement of public notices in their local newspapers, because some newspapers are not allowing public notices to be posted more than 2 weeks prior to the event. This putting a public meeting in the newspaper is one thing, but I would want, newspapers is one thing, okay? I don't think 10 days is enough time. I really think it should be at least 30 days. But again, this is not the state party's fault. It's more the local newspaper's fault. Now, if they're going to make this change, they ought to put a plank in there saying that bare minimum there needs to be a 30-day notice for a county convention, and that can be satisfied with Facebook event and also a website kind of thing. That's the plan of organization. Again, I want to thank the chair of the plan of organization, and I do not know their name because their name is not on this report, which is unusual. I guess they'll be on the program when we get to the convention in about 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks. But yeah, the explanation part of the plan of organization changes is very good, because let me tell you something. In conventions past, we've had changes to the plan of organization, and honestly, people don't know what the heck they're voting on. And then unfortunately, on a lot of other changes, we have to refer back to committee because a lot of people do not take the time before the convention to actually read these reports, kind of thing. Or maybe they read the report, but they still don't understand exactly what they're voting on. So yeah, very, very good idea to have explanation clause right under these plan of organization changes. And then, okay, another component of committee reports is the platform committee. I tend not to spend a lot of time on that because I could I could probably be on here for 3 or 4 hours talking about what the Republican platform should be and stuff. Because there's a lot of details, a lot of stuff in there, and that's more for somebody else to cover, I think. And also, of course, you got Mary Jo Shepard, who I remember in 2014, the last convention I covered, Gavel to Gavel. she was on there, and not much of a fan of her person. Her work on the platform committee leaves a lot to be desired. And she still is on there. And of course, sometimes with the platform committee, you'll have something that was voted on by delegates in one year, and then the very next year is taken off. That whole at-home midwives go out to attend at-home births. Yeah, that whole conundrum. Okay, last part of the convention business session this year is going to be the resolutions. And this year I'll say the resolutions are very, very light. I mean, these will probably take, not very much time to get through. There are 4 resolutions this year, which is kind of unfortunate because some years, man, we have 12 to 15 resolutions. Oh, yeah, and we also have to elect officers, too, in the same year. So, I think the resolutions committee maybe, they need to approve some more on the docket, especially in a convention where the agenda right now is very light. Come on, guys. And then there's also some talk, I know last year, about moving North Carolina from an open primary to closed primary, which is something I'm very supportive of. That has not met resolutions or plan organization committee standards, I guess. Then another thing, too, which I'm kind of glad they're not going to be discussing it at convention this year, is shrinking the executive committee. Yeah, I mean, so what they did was they basically referred back to committee, and that's usually code for we're not going to bring it up again. So, I don't know. Maybe they're going to this year, but I mean, the best thing for that would have been for it to be defeated. Because here in Florida, I mean, it is so difficult to get involved in politics. North Carolina, it's pretty easy to get involved, and I want North Carolina to stay the same. So, resolutions time, okay? This first one, I mean, I'll just read the title. There should be no debate on this. This one should pass 100% to 0. It's a resolution honoring the life and work of Reverend Billy Graham, okay? Yeah, that one should pass 100%. Next, we have a resolution. This is probably my favorite of the group because it actually urges elected officials to do something. Those are my favorite kind of resolutions where we urge elected officials to do something. I mean, the ones honoring Billy Graham and Jack Hawk and those kind of people, yeah, those are nice and everything, but these really give some teeth to our elected officials. So this one is a resolution supporting the U.S. Senate passage of H.R. 3004, otherwise known as Kate's Law. I'm just going to I'm going to read the first couple paragraphs. If you want to read the same thing, the whole thing, you can. On the NCGOP website. So here we go. Whereas on July 1st, 2015, a parent's unimaginable nightmare happened when Jim Steinley and his beautiful 32-year-old daughter Kate and a friend were walking on Pier 14 in the sanctuary city of San Francisco, California. A gunshot rang out. The next thing Jim remembers is his dying Kate in his arms, gasping, "Help me, Dad! Help me, Dad!" After being shot by Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez, a criminal illegal alien who had previously convicted of 7 felonies and deported 5 times, and whereas every day previously deported criminal illegal aliens are threatening everybody's safety with horrific crimes like murder, rape, child abuse, kidnapping, assault, and gang activity. Whereas on June 29, 2017, H.R. 3004 in the 115th Congress, Kate's law was passed by the U.S. House of Representatives by a recorded vote of 257 to 167, which is bipartisan vote, by the way. So a few Democrats voted for this too. And it was sent to the U.S. Senate. And whereas the U.S. Senate has taken no action for consideration of Kate's law since its receipt from the U.S. House of Representatives on July 10, 2017. And then it says 81% of likely U.S. voters favor a plan that calls for mandatory deportation. We have a resolution on the education, promotion, and cultural adoption of industrial hemp. Yeah, very exciting. And then, okay, a resolution to the North Carolina General Assembly to oppose legalization of marijuana. Why not? That one I don't know. Okay, well, that is all I have to say right now about the convention. Remember, we're going to have Roberts' order video probably about in a few days or two, and then take a little break, and then doing road trip videos, and then the convention itself. So, for right now, I am the conservative Pelican. Whoosh. Bye-bye.